What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, and today we've got a fun one. We're gonna bring Whitney, and she's gonna check out the Raspberry Buffet here. This is the bike that me and Shade Tree are giving away for Forgotten Angels. You may recognize it from many an adventure on his channel, or leaving me stranded in the Ozarks. We'll talk more about that in a second. But we do need to get Whitney on here because you have a growing fascination with the old Goldwing.
I was born with a growing fascination for the Goldwing. I'm not even kidding. I don't know what it is. There's just, you feel like you've reached peak human form when you own a Goldwing.
She's already been sipping the Kool-Aid. I don't need to give her anything. We're just ready to rock and roll today.
I did drop everything I was gonna go. You hit me up late last night. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll clear the schedule. Let's do this.
All right, let's dive on in. Okay, so a little bit of background information on this Goldwing, just in case you're not entirely familiar. So this was hanging out with good old Shade Tree Surgeon down in Florida. He gave it away for the Forgotten Angels, and the guy who won it was like, hey, you want to give it away again? And so that's exactly what we're doing. By the way, if you want to get entered to win this thing, the link is down in the description below. It's going to take you to a site that says it's a giveaway for a house. That's this giveaway. Trust me, you're getting entered to win both $250,000 worth of grand prize money and this at the same time. It's like,
what the hell?
I know. You can get a whole bunch of awesome stuff by clicking that link down in the description below, getting yourself signed up, and every dollar that you spend is going to go help all of the kids at the Forgotten Angels. Shade Tree's not seeing any money. I'm not seeing any money. 100% of the proceeds are going to help Forgotten Angels. Now, when I went to go pick this bike up in Arkansas, I was like, okay, cool. It's a Goldwing. It says Honda on the side. It should be fine, right? And everything was until I got about...
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't, yeah. Until I got about 60 miles down the road in the middle of the Ozarks and the battery crapped out on me. It seemed like the battery was fine, which meant that the electrical problems were with the bike. I got it back and I tested it again, and you're probably looking at the B-roll now. The battery was completely screwed. We tested the charging system with a clamp-on ammeter. We tested it every single way I could think of to make sure that this thing is good. It's absolutely good. Josh just put a crappy battery in it. He got a refurb battery, put it in here, and it barely made it.
I feel like you gotta go out of your way to find a refurbished battery. Right?
I don't even know where you would get one. So we put a new battery in here, and it's running like a champ. So you're gonna have some fun riding it.
I wanna know what kind of energy I'm going to be imbued with.
I
didn't know it was, I honestly didn't really know anything. I thought it was just a giveaway bike and somebody else it was just somebody's old Goldwing. But if you're telling me that Shade Tree sat and farted forever on this thing.
Try not to think of how many butts have been in that saddle. There have been many butts.
I like to think of how many butts have been in the saddle.
The butt lineage of the saddle?
Yeah, the more butts, the better, but you know what they say.
So, a couple of things to know before we get you on this, just because I feel like it's good to warn you. The front brake doesn't really work.
You know what, that's not the first time I've been thrown on a bike where the brakes are sketchy.
Yeah, so it's by design on this thing. The front brake on the Goldwing only actuates one of the calipers. I guess that's the primitive form of ABS. They're just like, put a brake on there that won't stop the bike even if you manhandle it. So the front end won't slip. You can squeeze the crap out of it, and even though it doesn't have ABS, it's not gonna go anywhere. The rear brake actuates the rear brake and one of the front calipers, so you get maximum braking from the rear. Another thing, it does tend to wobble at about 35 miles an hour, only if you're not holding the handlebars. So if you're not holding the handlebars...
Because you don't like to hold handlebars when you ride?
Well, sometimes I'm gesturing wildly as I'm talking.
Risking your life.
And while I'm doing that, the bars are just flapping around.
Okay.
They're trying to slap me upside the face and be like, no, don't do that.
Gesticulating.
Yeah.
Sure.
Last thing, none of the buttons work.
Okay.
Oh, and the speedometer doesn't work.
I've always loved riding vintage bikes. You gotta sit with the owner before you go ride it.
Yeah, you need to get the safety briefing, but...
If it tickles your whiskers, just rub it right here and it should be fine.
So you pumped to check this thing out?
Dude, I'm so so pumped. It's like the Doohickey Museum. It's got this air pressure control and vents for your kneecaps, I guess.
The CB radio hookup
It's
and the
beautiful.
tape deck and all of that stuff.
It's absolutely beautiful.
All right, well, let's get on out there. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Cardo. Whether you're hitting the road on your Goldwing or just heading out for a short ride with your buddies, you're going to want to add a Cardo to your ride. They've got high quality speakers for your music, super long battery life, dynamic mesh connection so you automatically reconnect with other riders, and more. If you're wondering how Whitney and I are talking when we're out on the road, it's all powered by our Cardos. They've got options for all styles and budgets, and you can get yourself an extra 10% off your order when you use the code SPITE10 at checkout. Click the link down below and check out all the different styles they've got to offer. All right, let's hit the road.
Alrighty, you ready to hop on board?
Look at this. Look at all this grit that's going on.
It's personality. So, a little bit like the Pan America. Actually, you have to have it in the go position there.
Look at all these doodads.
I know, right?
What is this?
That's your cruise control.
It looks like one. It just looks ancient.
So it does have electronic cruise on it. I don't know how it works because it's carbureted, but it has it. It just doesn't work. So it's more of an aspirational poster for cruise control. This is what actually does it.
Oh boy, it's already going.
So I figure you should probably just poodle around in the parking lot a little bit while you're getting used to it, because it is a very different style of motorcycle. It's not like scary, but it's just different. And get used to the feeling of the brakes.
The clutch pull is harder than the R9T, which is impressive.
Because it's a old hydraulic clutch.
It's quiet.
It's very quiet.
All right, here we go. Ooh.
Such a barge going down the road.
All right, yeah. Acclimating, buffering.
It's like 99% a normal motorcycle, right?
Yeah. It is very different though. Oh yeah, it's got that nice vintage, crusty, crunchy. Let's practice braking. Oh, no. Doesn't. Sorta. There we go. There, it finally stopped.
Yeah, you really got to use that rear brake if you want to come to a proper stop.
It is funny. I can actually feel like gears turning and acclimating.
Right?
And everybody gets to witness the first 20 minutes of me just like, rainbow beach ball buffering. I guess that's what people want to see, right?
Oh, it's what everybody wants to see.
What I don't understand is why the turning feels so funny. I guess it's like kind of lumpy.
It's because it's the air ride suspension, and it's really designed to turn at a higher speed.
Oh, okay. So doing parking lot stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, it'll feel a lot better once we get some speed going.
It just wants to eat it. That's fine.
Meanwhile, I'm going to leap forward in time about 10,000 years and get on the smart pillin. Oh, yep, that's the LC4, baby. All right, let's hang a left.
Oof, it really doesn't stop, dude.
It really doesn't stop.
Oh,
you gotta get good at putting down just your left foot.
Dude, that was a full grab. That was a full brake grab, and it
just doesn't do it. It's just like not.
Uh-oh, I feel my inner dad bulging out. There we go. Okay, this is way easier.
Yeah, it's way better out on the open road, right?
Yes. So do you use your front brake at all if it's that useless? No.
I use it occasionally just to, like, if I'm going a little bit quick into a corner, I'll just use it a little bit to tap off a teensy bit of speed, but 99% of the braking I'm using the rear brake because it's the only one that actually really does anything. It's got a lot of cop bike energy from behind. It's kind of cool, actually. I really like the look of it from... I've never really seen it going down the road from behind.
Right.
You get a different perspective of your own motorcycle. My own, it's not mine, but the motorcycle that is currently living in my garage.
It is yours in your heart.
Yeah. You get a different feel for it when you actually see it going down the road from behind. But now that we're out here, give me some thoughts. How does it feel going down the road on a 1987 Goldwing?
Is it just like me, or does it handle like ass? I can't tell if it's a combination of how bad I am at, or how inexperienced I am rather at riding gigantic bikes, or if it is just wonky, you know? So
it's a weird mix. I've had some good experiences on it, but I also totally understand where you're coming from saying it handles poorly. Because this is like the most sophisticated suspension from 1987. So we've made some pretty serious gains in the intervening years.
Right.
It's just not, it was good in the 80s. It's not good now. But when you get it on a line, it does kind of hold that line. It's just a little bit wonky, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I gotta think really hard or concentrate to get it to hold a line, but I'm also not good at holding lines. But it is a lot more agile than I anticipated, I guess, which is strange.
It's not like you're gonna take it to a track day or anything, but you can ride it and be comfortable, which is cool. You know, you can go on a twisty road and feel like you're gonna survive. Sometimes you get on big cruising Harleys and you're like, I'm not sure this is the right place for this to be. Let me ask you this, because speaking of cruising Harleys, the last time you were out on a motorcycle that was like your very first time getting on this style of bike, it was the Lowrider ST. And you absolutely fell in love with that motorcycle. Like you were having so much fun on the Lowrider ST.
Yeah, this, but that's such a newer bike, right? It's like with this, I gotta kind of change a lot in my brain to enjoy the experience, where the Lowrider ST is like, all right, we're gonna blast off, we're gonna have a lot of fun. This, I'm definitely more cautious and more timid, because everybody's witnessing the first 20 minutes of me riding it. It also, sure, it's bottom heavy, but it's way different than the Lowrider, in my opinion.
Yeah. It doesn't have that like it doesn't feel like it's got lead weights at the bottom of the bike. The weight feels a little bit more distributed on the Goldwing.
Right. It definitely does. It also, it's got a feathery type of agility that I wasn't anticipating. And I think that's also kind of confusing me a little bit. Like, this feels like as agile, if not more, because of its weight. Of course, it's just downpouring rain now.
Yeah, I know. I thought it wasn't going to be that bad. Apparently, I was wrong.
But it's agile as hell, actually, which I felt a little bit more guided and trusting of. Wow, it's crazy how much those front brakes do not do. Wow, that will definitely take some getting used to.
That is literally the first thing that I said when I came to the first stop sign when I got on it. Was like, okay, that brake just doesn't work. It's not even a suggestion.
No, and it's fun. I was like, oh, so you need to, rebuild the brake system if the calipers aren't working. And you're like, no, that's how it is. I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. I like how smooth it rides. Like, obviously, I've ridden a lot of vintage bikes. I feel like this engine is just beautiful. Yeah,
it's a great cruiser, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoy that aspect. Like I said, the agility thing's really throwing me off. It's really sensitive to my inputs, and I don't have professional inputs or this is my first time on a Goldwing, so I'm like, oh, what am I doing? So I could see how for me and where I'm at with my riding that would take some significant getting used to. But also a big factor, since you brought up the Lowrider ST, that was fun with that, is just the torque. Like the torque factor is so insane on it that you're blasting around with ease. This is much more smooth and refined and royal almost.
Yeah, it's not hooligan-y,
No. Not at all.
It's got that sort of it's like it's ushering a lord to and from, you know. It's your loyal chariot.
Yes.
The nice thing I will say though about the Goldwing is I've ridden it in the rain. Basically every single time I get on the Goldwing, it's raining.
So this is your fault.
I guess. Yeah, it's just terrible luck. But when you're just cruising down the highway on it, the shape of the windshield just throws it all over you.
Yeah.
Like it's all over the top of your head, and you know you don't get wet at all. You'll experience that a little bit here. So now that we're picking up the pace a little bit, how's it feeling to you on the highway?
This is where it wants to be. It's loving it, right? It feels I don't know what the right word for it is.
Feels at home.
Feels at home. Yeah.
It's just built to cruise to and from the office or to and from, you know, the Grand Canyon and back.
I feel like pontificating on it. It feels like a really good vlogging machine. Like, this is so comfortable.
Maybe that's where all of Shade Tree's proclamations come from, is he just sits on the Goldwing and thinks like he's Diogenes in his barrel, except instead of being in a barrel, he's on a Goldwing.
Yes, I feel like this is the first bike that makes me want to sit up straight. I'm like, oh, yes, we shall go there next. That sounds great.
Does it make you want to be more polite? Does it make you want to be a better person?
It makes me want to shout orders at people a little bit. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody should just bow in my presence a little bit.
Yeah, to just be like, you know what? No, peasant, you bow to me.
Move away.
So in your world, because you're currently trying to you're trying to reshuffle the Whitney stable around quite a bit.
Yes.
You're selling the R9T. You're trying to get yourself on a dirt bike, specifically a dirt bike, not a dual sport, but you would get a dual sport if you found the right one. Would you get rid of the Svartpillen and have that as your street bike?
Probably, because then I've got a whole extra recliner for my family, right? You could throw any buddy, pal, girlfriend, boyfriend, anything. You can put anybody back there, and now you guys can go shopping. Like, that to me is kind of where I'd like my street riding to go, right?
You're basically trying to remove the I'm gonna go fast and carve corners and stuff. You're gonna be like, nah, just save that for the track, and then on the street you just have an endlessly practical motorcycle that's also really freaking cool.
That also has plenty of room for snacks.
There's so much snack room on that motorcycle.
So much room.
There's so much snack room.
Yeah, it's like, this is what I envision picking up my kids from school on. You're like, we're riding the goddamn Goldwing. Wow. Yeah, I love how historic it feels, because I guess, you know, the 80s are getting further and further away. You know, it's a piece of history.
So as we close in on the highway that leads us back to our houses in respective hiding from the rain, give me your final thoughts on the Goldwing. What do you think?
Dude, I give this bike a solid 9 out of 10.
Really?
And if you gave me more time with it, I don't know, it might be a 10 out of 10. The stopping I'd have to like get used to or figure out or get better at, but yeah, goddamn.
Well, then let's get you some more time on the Goldwing before I have to give it away.
I need more time on the Goldwing.
Yeah, we'll earmark some more Goldwing time for you, Whitney, and we'll have you enjoy it more, and then we're gonna tear it away from you as we give it away for Forgotten Angels. Because remember, guys, I'm not keeping that motorcycle. We are giving it away. It is continuing to do good for the world by helping the folks over at Forgotten Angels. If you want to get yourself entered to win that freaking steed back there, and I guess come down to Austin to get it, I guess. Maybe we can go hang out, go for a ride, grab some barbecue or something. I have no clue. But if you want to get entered to win, click that link down below. Yes, it does take you to a page where you can win a $250,000 dream house. But you can also win by entering there for the Goldwing. You get entered for both prizes. So go ahead, do yourself a favor, get entered to win some cool stuff, and help some folks out at the same time. Every single dollar you spend goes to the Forgotten Angels. Does not go to me, does not go to Shade Tree Surgeon. It all goes to help out the Forgotten Angels. And with that, I guess we're gonna sign off. Whitney, any closing thoughts?
Dude, I knew that. I finally feel like I'm coming full circle. I knew why I was born with this utter insatiable curiosity for the Goldwing, and I feel like a little bit of a different person now.
You've elevated, you've opened your mind.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Well, stay tuned. I'm sure we'll get some more Whitney thoughts on the wing. Probably some stuff over on your channel. You should film a video for your own channel, which I'll also link down in the description. If you've enjoyed Whitney's pontifications here, you'll enjoy them more there. So check that out, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.